Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Kate. Today I would like to share with you this adorable little shaker card. Let's get started. So to kick things off, I really wanted to use this Heffy Doodle stitched rounded Imperial rectangle die set that I have, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to use it. So I thought it would be fun if I paired it with Fawn's outside in stitched rectangle die so I could create a frame with a rounded inside. And these are some new to me dies, and I'm just so thrilled to have them because they have the rounded edges. And I'm kind of a little geeked about it, and I can't wait to create with it, but I thought I would start off with making a frame with it. Now, at the time of this, putting this together here in the beginning of this video, I had no idea that I was going to turn this into a shaker card. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to make a frame with this, and we're just going to go with it. And in the spirit of going with it, we are going to do a two-tone cloud effect. Now, if you guys watched my Wednesday video, you know that I absolutely had so much fun combining I believe it's the Forget-Me-Not with the ballet slippers to create a two-tone cloud effect. And for that card, initially, I was going to use the Apricot and the Merman for this guy, but there was something about it that just didn't sit well with me, and I ended up going with the other colors that I had chose. And when I looked at my panel where I used the Apricot and the Merman, I'm like, you know what, that is a really pretty combination. I'm going to use it for another color, or another card, sorry. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm recreating the sky that I did using the Apricot and the Mermaid ink. Or Merman, yeah, I believe it's Merman. And I'm going to take these clouds all the way down to the bottom because this is going to be a full panel shaker card, sort of, as you saw in the beginning. But I don't know it's a shaker card just yet. I'm just thinking I really want to do these clouds in the two-tone colors, and I really want to use the Imperial round stitched rectangle frame. And I have a feeling that I'm going to create a lot of fun cards with that one because it's nothing like I have in my collection. When I saw the Heffy Doodle had it on their site, I'm like, I hope I can find that in Canada, and I certainly found it in Canada. So I was quite excited to add to cart, and yeah. I'm kind of really digging some of the Heffy Doodle stuff. I was able to I was able to create, I should say, I was able to create another card using I think it's the Broad Brushstrokes stencil, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm loving this. I think maybe this is going to be the first quarter of the year with nothing but stencils. At least that's what I'm hoping. I don't know what it is about the stencils. It's a lot of fun to create a scene with just ink blending. Now, I'm not that great with watercolors. I'm hoping maybe I'll improve with that, but this is like the next best thing to me because you can kind of almost get that dreamy effect that you can with watercolor, I guess you could say. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my rear end, but it's a medium that I really have a lot of fun doing. So what I've done here is I've cut a panel of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm just going around the edges with some apricot ink because I don't have the matching colored cardstock, and I found that this is a great way just to use up some of my white cardstock that I have that, you know, you don't really need to invest into the colored cardstock for panels like this. You just use your matching ink. I find that it works great and it gets the job done. And all I'm doing here is just adding a little bit more just to make sure. And now we're going to do a little bit of coloring. So this is I believe it's my All My Heart stamp set, and I just think this mouse is absolutely adorable. Now before this one had come out, I had did a video where I did partial die cutting and stamp masking where I used a heart balloon and a little mouse. And when Lawn Fawn came out with this, I was thrilled because I don't know what it is about mice and balloons. It's just so stinking cute. I don't know if you guys are part and partial to the mice as well. I think the mice are absolutely adorable, as well as the cats and a few other critters that they have. But The mice are so simple to color, and they're so tiny, but they pack such a great punch. So next we are going to take the frame that we did and we're going to line it up on our paper to just give ourselves an idea of where we are going to want to cut. Now, I like to work on a panel that is larger than what I need, so I can do this. So I can cut it down to see which bits that I like the most, and I'm going to go with what I have here. So I've taken a pencil and I've kind of mapped off where I need to cut. And I'm just going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. So that way it'll fit behind my frame. And that way you don't see any of it poking out of the sides because we're going to panel this on or layer this onto another panel. So this is where I decided that I was going to make this into a shaker card. I initially had cut out the foam tape, but right before I was going to put the foam tape down, I thought, nope, 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 nope. I'm going to do this as a shaker card. This was just one of those projects that spoke to me halfway through and said, you gotta pivot and you gotta go in this direction. So that's exactly what we did. I turned around and probably spent about 5 minutes trying to find my 6x6 acetate book and couldn't find it for the life of me. And it was the last place and the first place that I looked. Now I've got a bin of 6x6 paper pad. It was in the front, kind of tucked in between two pieces of pattern paper. I must have looked like 3 times. So yeah. I ended up finding the acetate and then I put my foam tape on it and then I took my little mouse here and I've covered him with some foam tape. And then we're going to add a little bit of glue to the back and we are going to layer him down. But to give myself an idea of where I want him, I'm going to use that framed eyeball roughly where I need him to be. So we're going to mash him down, try not to get everything all over the place here, right in the center there, and then we're going to pull out some of the Sakura Stardust pen so that way we could give him a little bit of sparkle because he's going to be sitting right below the acetate. Now you could do this where he is on top of the acetate, but I don't know, I thought it'd be kind of fun to put him on the inside, but now that I think of it, it's kind of like he's almost in a hailstorm once you get him shaking around. So here I've got a little bit of Wink of Stella. We're going to go around the heart, so it's got 2 types of glitter. We've got the Wink of Stella and the Sakura Stardust pen. And we're going to add a little bit of the Sakura, the Wink of Stella on the little hearts as well. And then once we're done that, we are going to put some glue on the back sides of these guys and use our tweezers to kind of plop them down. Now I had a hard time picking some of these up, so I just used my jewel picker to pick the paper up because my fingers are a little fat. So once we've got those mashed down, now it's time to assemble. So we're going to remove the release tape off the back, but first, before I get a little too excited, we're going to put some of these little micro beads. Now these are recollection. These are like never ending. I never seem to be able to use them all up. Now hindsight is a little 20/20 here. I knew I was going to run into this problem, but I really couldn't think on the fly how I was going to alleviate it. Like, I wanted the mouse to be up against the back side of the acetate so I wouldn't get the little micro beads floating in front of him. But it was inevitable and I didn't know how to quite to avoid it. Now, if you guys have made a card like this and have any suggestions, I'm open to critique because although I do like how the card turned out, I think next time I will put the mouse on the outside with maybe a little bit of foam tape on the other side of the acetate to hold it up in the center so he's kind of covering the covering the foam tape, not the acetate. You know what I mean, right? Right. Maybe? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I kind of struggled with this because it's like, oh, I'm going to make a shaker card. How am I going to do it? Okay, let's do it this way. Wait, this isn't the best way to do it. So maybe don't follow along with this part. Maybe if you can figure out another idea. See, I'm trying to move all of the little micro beads off to the side so that way I could get the little mouse in there. And it was kind of like, oh, maybe I should have thought this one through. Maybe I shouldn't have done the acetate with the micro beads, but it is what it is. I mean, in the end, we got there. Like my friend Jordy likes to say, we get there in the end. But it was a bit of a struggle down the road trying to do this. And I'm always worried about knocking my project and getting micro beads stuck all over the foam tape. But we didn't get there. We didn't do that. We did all right. We put a little glue down and then we mashed our little panel down and we were able to mount everything on. So I really like how cute this is. I like that I'm able to match my panel with just a little bit of ink blending to the rest of my card. I really love that apricot ink and how it goes with the mermaid ink and the clouds, and I don't know, that, see, I just dropped it. Butterfingers. So I'm going to stand above my project and kind of eyeball where that needs to be, and then we'll give that a big mash down. And then I needed a sentiment. I kind of walked away from this and came back because I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to finish this card. So we are using a sentiment from the stamp set, Fly High, the one with the elephant and the air balloons. I thought that this was kind of cute to add to the situation here because you've got this cute little mouse with his heart balloon being pelted by beads in like a hailstorm or something. I don't know. I'm trying to be nice here, but when I think about it in hindsight, it's kind of like that poor little mouse is floating through a hailstorm of beads. Oh, Kate, what are we gonna do with you? So once I've got those glued down, we're gonna trim off the edge and add a little bit of glue to the ends there. That way they are situated nice and secure. And then we could add this to our card panel. So we're gonna double stick with some tape runner, and then we're gonna add a little bit of the Bearly Arts glue to the back sides of our panel, just to make sure to get along the edges there so we get a good adhesion. Scribble around all over the place, and we're going to try very hard not to drop this one again. And then we'll just pick up our card base, line everybody up, and once I'm happy with that, give it a good mash down. And here you have my finished card. Now, I wish I had audio to this, but there was a lot going on in the background, and I couldn't add the audio, unfortunately. So, there you go. And here's my finished card. I hope you enjoyed today's program. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.